Dr. Dre was in the hospital, and so the update is that he's doing better.
Yes,
I'm sure you've spoken to him.
Yeah,
You've reached
absolutely.
out. So, what's your interaction with him in
recent times, man? It's crazy. I talked to him all while he was in the hospital, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
crazy. It was really crazy because from my perspective, we had just spoke probably like 2 or 3 days prior to his situation that happened.
Yeah.
And I called him, and it was things on my heart. You know how sometimes you just have, something on your chest, and you got to call an old friend,
Yep.
call one of your friends and just let them know how you feel. And I got a chance, and I told him, I said, bro, it's things even outside of the studio that you taught me that'll help me eat forever, that'll help me, get revenue, that'll help me, it's information and knowledge that he gave me that I'll pass down to my children one day, and that's going to help them feed their children. And I called him, and it was just on my heart to tell him that. And I'm like, bro, I want to say thank you. Beyond me being signed to Aftermath, beyond record deals, beyond us making records in the studio, I was always appreciative of the friendship and of that part of the journey as well. And it was so crazy that I called him. Like, it was just something on my spirit that told me to call him and tell him that, right? So we have that beautiful conversation. The next day, he ends up in the hospital, And so just for anybody listening to this, if it's ever on your heart to call somebody, if it's ever on your mind to call somebody, a friend or a colleague or somebody you haven't seen in a while, don't ignore that feeling. Don't ignore that intuition, because it's there for a reason. Because then, like I said, 2 days after I called him, and we had a beautiful conversation. And after I told him thank you, he like, man, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is with me. You know what I'm saying? And I was actually going to go to California and do some recording with him, but then this happened.
Yeah.
So when I spoke to him when he was in the hospital, it was a unique experience in that, anytime I ever talked to him, he was always up and chipper and vibrant and full of energy. Yeah. And it did something to me to hear somebody that is such a strong figure in my life. You know what I'm saying? Be in a situation where they can't do all of the things that they want to do in that moment, where, at some point we all have to face our mortality of understanding that we're all human. We can, especially all of us being in show business, we can overwork ourselves. A lot of times in show business, we'll act like sleep is the enemy. We'll act like rest is the enemy.
We hide our pain a lot.
Right?
We suppress it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it was like in that moment, talking to Dre while he was in the hospital, it was like, it made me think to myself, let me make sure, they say these days health is wealth, and it is.
Very
and so
much.
that's something that we all got to keep on our minds. But just to answer your direct question, he was good. He was in good spirits. One thing people don't know about Dre is he has a really good sense of humor. And so, like, just talking to him on the phone, hearing that same, even though he was laying down in the hospital bed, it was still the same Dre. It was still, man, what's up, man? You good? You all right? You know what I'm saying? It was still the same sense of humor. It was still that same energy. You know what I'm saying? It's right. Represented by the gangsters all across the world. Still.